Andrea, give me a thumbs up. All right, cool. Let's go. Okay, new listings and buyers needs. So we'll start here in the room. If you've got a new listing coming up, share it with the group. If you've got a buyer that you're looking to match with the listing, we'll also go over that. And then if you are online, let's put a number 1 in the chat box and I'll call on you as soon as we get done here in the room. Sharon.
I'm gonna have a 1,400 square foot ranch in Livonia on Loveland across just north of 5 Mile, across from City Hall. That's coming up soon. I'm gonna have
What's
a
that?
probably 210.
Wow. Okay.
250 condo at 9 in Halstead. That's coming up.
Huh?
And then
I don't think so.
8 in Newburgh, taking the pictures on Friday. 410, 425.
Okay, and Carolyn just said Derek Ward has buyers in there, so might want to connect with Derek Ward.
Okay.
Lisa.
I have 2 coming up next week in Livonia. One is they're over almost 3,000, almost 4,000 square feet, both of them in Coventry Gardens. One's 550, one's 500.
Okay, great. Livonia's
But
heating
super
up.
nice, very nice houses.
I've got 4 coming up. One's in, you guys don't go in Ann Arbor, do you at all?
Yeah.
Okay, Ann Arbor, it's on Sawgrass, West Sawgrass, 2,900 square foot, 2-story, full finish floor level, gonna be like 625. I've got one on Hillcrest and Royal Oak that's coming up for 275. It's a ranch, 1,031 square foot finished floor level, fireplace, 2-car detached garage. I've got one in Redford coming up, cheap one on Tecumseh Street for 150. It has a ranch, 1,000 square foot. Then I've got one, I don't know if you guys get into Grosse Pointe West, Grosse Pointe Woods at all, but I got one on Hampton Road. Grosse Pointe Woods for 225 to 1,303 square foot, 2-story with a fireplace.
Where's that at?
Grosse Pointe Woods on Hampton Road.
All right. Doug.
I have a coming soon in Clarkston, a condo, 160. It's just over 1,000 square foot. Right next to Greens Lake, and I've already told all my buyers last time,
Okay.
last 2 times.
Anyone else in the room? Anyone on online? Going once? Going twice? Hey, happy birthday to our May birthdays. We've got 20 different days of birthdays this month. So happy birthday. Coming up in the Market Center, prepare your client for closing. This class is tomorrow at noon. Barb, what? I'll start over. So Barb is teaching a class tomorrow at noon, preparing your client for closing. Barb, what is what is someone going to get out of this?
Okay, so this is actually going to be an awesome class, and no offense to any veteran agents out there, but even the veterans can learn something about this. I can't tell you how many times I come to a closing and I want to disperse the seller and they don't have a tax ID number, right? I mean, I'm not going to tell. I'm just going to use an example, but I won't do that. But so I'm just saying, it's something that you don't think to tell your seller when it comes to closing. It may be in an LLC, it may be in a trust. We need some type of tax ID number to disperse. I cannot hand them a check. I cannot send them a wire until I have a tax ID. That's just one example of something that you're going to pull from this class. So it's for everyone.
Yeah. I saw when Jess sent me the slides to put in for the presentation today. I saw this one, and just knowing from talking to Pete what's happening out there, like probably the veteran agents need to block this out and attend this with Barb. So tomorrow at noon, right after Pete's forms.
We are going to be giving only one premium service deal again at this class. When you spin the wheel and you're attendee and your name is picked, it's a free premium service. We'll get another $40 giveaway on that.
All right, so definitely come to that class and get something free.
Is it going to be recorded for people involved?
Will it be recorded? Jess, are you going to record this?
Yes.
As long as there's no personal information being shared, we can record it and post it on YouTube.
So yes.
Thank you.
Risky business with Michelle. Michelle, do you want to?
I know, right?
That's okay. So Michelle's teaching this Friday at 12.
Correct.
And what can they expect to get from that?
This one, we're gonna do the 5 causes of water damage, what is and what isn't covered, which would be really good at lines. Use knowledge. One more thing I just wanted to throw out there, the insurance, we just had a presentation in our meeting, we just finished. The cost of insurance for your homeowners is definitely going to increase this year due to several factors. Last year, there were 63 catastrophes. There were hurricanes, tornadoes, and wildfires, 63 noted, so causing a lot of losses. So building material is in short supply, obviously. You're seeing that because of the home. And lumber costs has increased by 60%. The sheet of plywood was $38 last year, $95 this year. So that is in fact definitely one to consider as a homeowner's insurance to your clients.
For us.
Yeah, you too, absolutely.
Yeah.
Actually, and one more, just good news, we added 2 new carriers to our lineup, so we pretty much have everyone you need to make sure that you or your clients are well taken care of and well insured. And on another note, the policies that I am reviewing, looking over for people, there are a lot of missing coverages on the policies people have. And you might not think they're much, they only add a few dollars on this year premium, but they can mean a lot if you do know a lot.
Awesome, thank you. So this Friday at noon after these forms.
I'm gonna start charging.
I think you should, really. That's the premium time slot for classes. This is the KW Connect calendar. So this is our live training through KWRI. A couple things to mention. Tomorrow, this is Central Time. So 6 personal perspectives, great class. Wealth Building with Mark is also at 4 p.m. our time. That's a great class as well. And then Lifeline with Gary Keller. So if you guys have that, and they do these every month. So it's not like if you miss it this week, you can grab it again next month. But those are 3 really, really great classes. So I would urge you to take time for that. And then for our Market Center, a couple things to note is next Thursday, Kate and I are teaching all about passive income and how you guys can take advantage of that through Keller Williams. On Wednesday, the 26th, Matt Marsupian is teaching a class, what did it take to win? So if you guys remember, not too long ago, we did a class with Matt called Roast My Listing, where we would take a listing that wasn't selling. If you remember those days. And Matt's pivoted that to how can you get your buyer's deals accepted. So we're going to have some good content there. And then on Thursday, the 27th, Trevor is teaching how to sign more listings. That's a lunch and learn, which who doesn't want more listings in this market, right? So
I thought you were gonna say who doesn't want more lunch.
that too. So great content coming up in the next couple of weeks here in the Market Center. Make sure to check the training calendar for that. Red Day updates. Who's coming to Red Day? Raise your hand. All right. We've got, I think, a record number of people signed up. 94 people signed up. That is a record. We're going to call it here. No, we've never had that much participation. Well, yeah, that Peter Carolyn can remember. So arrival time, couple key things. Arrival time will be 9:30 at the Living and Learning Center. We'll be done around 3. If you can bring tools like rakes and shovels and stuff, bring that. We do need some wheelbarrows. So if you have a wheelbarrow at home, bring the wheelbarrow. Carpool if you can. So there's going to be limited spaces at the Living and Learning Center. We will be the leadership team will be there earlier to direct traffic. Once everyone comes in and there's no more spots, then you'll have to either park at Ford, where did we say? Ford Field? Ford Field in downtown Northville, not downtown Detroit. Okay. You have to park down there, which is, I think we mapped it out that day. Half a mile maybe, or less from the Living and Learning Center, or meet here at the Market Center and drive over. It's right down the street. So wear your Red Day shirts if you ordered one. And
They're available in the cafe, or I'm sorry, they're available downstairs in the training room.
thank you. So if you did order one, you can pick them up downstairs in the training room.
They'll be coming with us on Thursday too.
Okay, so if you didn't get one, that, or if you did not pick your order up, we will bring it with us. If you did not sign up, this is what you're about to tell me?
No, let's tell you about the site.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll say that next. If you did not sign up and fill out the background check form, you cannot show up and work that day. So you got to get a hold of us today to make that happen. And please do not park at the cider mill and walk up to the Learning Center. They've asked us specifically to not do that.
Weather's gonna be good.
The weather's gonna be beautiful.
68 degrees.
Oh,
Wow,
wow,
sunny.
okay, sunny, yeah, great. I don't know if Dave or there's Dave or Debbie, if either one of them are on, I want to add anything to that or edit anything that I did say.
No, I mean, it all sounds well and good. I will be out there Wednesday afternoon, evening, grading and constructing the platform for the shed. If anybody wants to stop out and say hi, I don't know that I actually need any help, but looking forward to having a great day Thursday. Weather looks amazing, so should be good.
Thanks,
Yeah, you
Dave.
covered it all. Yep, all good.
Cool, all right, so we'll see everyone at 9:30 on Thursday. A couple things to just quick reminders is kwadvantageemd.com is our new electronic EMD. There's some confusion in the Facebook group the other day, so I just want to make sure you guys are aware of that. Our partnership with the Hyatt in Livonia, if you have questions on that, this is where your clients can get extremely discounted rates to stay there if they're in between like occupancy or whatever with their sale. Talk to Jess on that. She can hook you up with, I think the lady's name is Debbie over at the Hyatt. And then a reminder of agent services. Jess has been meeting with agents. You can actually set up an appointment where she will sit down and go over whatever it is that you need for your business, from marketing to farming, whatever it is, she can sit down and go over with you. So set up an appointment directly with her for anything. Jess?
Oh.
Yep.
Okay, we'll show you a picture, Jess. Rob, you have one up there?
I don't have one, but you all know who Jess is. All right, recognition. Let's talk about April. So in April, we had 250 closings. Your GCI was almost $2 million. So this is the money that you as the agents, what? Oh, hang on one second. There we go. Profit share, over $42,000. So if you take that figure and divide it by the number of days in April, it's like we literally walked around and passed over $1,400 out a day. So if you're not getting that, you need to come to Kate and I's class next Thursday. 83 agents wrote contracts last month and 62 agents took 137 listings. If you remember from last month's meeting, we talked about how we're outpacing the MLS. And once I have more time to gather more of that data for April, I will. But yeah, I mean, you guys, 62 agents took 137 listings. The business is out there, right? And we're getting it more than any other brokerage. So now it's the talk is how do more people get even more business, right? Within our own walls here. So great April, as far as these numbers are concerned. We set records in a lot of categories as an office.
Can you say something?
Yeah.
Don't think there's not dishonest agents out there, okay? And I'm surprised.
Easy job.
You guys, Sharon brought something up the other day. She checked out of 4 of her listings this year, or 4 of her buy sites. 4 buy sites. 2 of them were recorded incorrectly in the MLS. They showed them as double dips on the other side. You guys, that's important for these numbers here that are showing X. We could be better than that if we're making sure we're following up on when you close a house on the buy side, go back in there in a couple of days and make sure that the listing agent put you in there. Because it affects you guys individually with your, all the reports you do, and it affects us from a market side. I mean, so anytime there's statistics out there, whether it's our Detroit or whatever, or Cranes, we need the information to be correct. So please start checking everybody run to the computer when we're done here. and Check your buy sites and see if they've been recorded.
Yeah,
properly.
that'll show up with the market share reports that I do. So these numbers are internally, Carolyn and Katie track all this, but yeah, the market share numbers, it's critical that we have that. So double check all that, and you want that for the reporting on those third parties. So great job in April. We gotta figure this, move this over to here now. So in April, we welcomed 28 agents into the market center, and these are them. Some of them not pictured at the bottom of this flyer. So if you see them around, make sure to introduce yourself and say hello. First KW Advantage listing. So these are agents who took their first listing with our market center, Emily, Mike, and Terry. Congratulations on that. And to follow that up is our first KW Advantage closing. Just mention Fakua and his wife Natalie. They are partners, but they just came off of a team, so it's not their first ever. And then Tammy also just came off of a team. But congratulations to your first closing with us, and hope for many more. This thing. I'm gonna have to-
If you compact it up top, Rob, you just won't see the pictures of everyone.
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do that. There we go. We don't need to see all that. Okay, congrats to our cappers for the month, David and Delight, Leisha, Dave and Drew. Congratulations. Here's our top agents who are with our working with our coaches for the month of April. We've got Safe leading it off. I think Safe's been on this like every month, right? Safe with 820,000. Great job. Emily, who had her first listing and closing, is on there. Taylor, Randy, Rick, Fadi. So we have two Fadis now. I don't know if everyone knew that. So this is the new Fadi. Michelle, Terry, and Heidi. Congratulations to you guys. Here's our top individual agents. So we've got Lisa here, top of the month. Booted Daniel Lorado off of there.
Booted him right off the sheet.
Booted him right off the sheet. Well, here's what's cool about this is if you look, some of you here might not be able to see, but the 10th agent on there is still over $1 million for last month. So that's pretty incredible. So Lisa did almost 1.8. Sakina, Dave, Marie, Leisha's on there again. You've been on every month, right? Did you miss it? 3 out of 4. Okay, 3 out of 4. Which month did you miss?
I think February.
February, okay. Mark, Heidi, Lloyd, Tracy, and Brigitte. So great job, you guys. Lisa, coming to you. What's the #1 source of your business last month?
Past clients and referrals.
Past clients and referrals. What specifically are you doing to get them to use you as their agent?
I just keep in contact with my clients all the time. I mean, not all the time, but that's I think one of my strengths is they're like my friends after the transaction. So they call me, they always call me for people to, do some work for them, or I keep in contact with pretty much all my clients, and everybody that I've ever serviced has come back to me, which is, I think, huge. And to me,
Absolutely.
it speaks volumes.
Yeah, great. Dave, coming to you. #3 on the month. What #1 source of business?
I'll have to double check those numbers. I thought it was a little bit higher, but I digress. SOI. Talk to your people, add value, and it will return in droves.
Awesome. Leisha, coming to you. #1 source.
Sphere.
Sphere, #1. And what's the one thing you follow up? Awesome.
Contact them, call them, text them.
Call, text, knock on their door, whatever you got to do, right? Awesome, good job, you guys. That's huge numbers for April. And if you remember last year in April, like what was the conditions, right? Like things were crazy, right? Not that they're not now, it's just different crazy. Here's our top teams and groups for April starting, and these are some impressive numbers too. Tibble's team, almost 3.6. Dineski, over 3.3. Demora, 2.1, almost 2.2. Delia Group, which is an expansion team here, almost 1.7, and then the Fitzpatrick's at just over $1.2 million. So great job, everyone, on that. Let's talk about the market of the moment. Okay, and actually, I'm gonna bring Pete in a little bit on this. Pete, what would you say is like the one thing that's kind of trending that's coming across your plate right now?
I can tell you the biggest problem right now, you guys, is appraisal guarantees and how they're blowing up on them. I probably had 4 people from the office talk to me last week about appraisal guarantees where they're writing them and they're not appraising. And buyers are saying, okay, I still get the house for this price. And sellers are saying, there's no way I'm selling you the house for this price. And nobody likes to, when you're writing an offer, you guys hear me talk about, you put in a ceiling, you need to put in a floor. Agents don't like to put in a floor because they think they're screwing their clients, okay? You're not screwing your clients if they don't get the house. And that's usually what's happening, to where I write an offer for on a $200,000 house and I write it for $225,000 and I'll put a $25,000 guarantee on it. And then it appraises for $190,000 or $170,000. It'll appraise really. So the seller or the buyer thinks they'll pay $70,000 or $170,000 plus $25,000. Okay, $195,000, where the seller is saying, and that's kind of close. Seller's saying, I'm not selling it to you for that price. And I can tell you, there's a different belief out there with myself and our attorney view it as there's a deal there. The MAR attorney and most attorneys out there will say there's no deal, sell it or not sell. So, you know, what I'm getting is people say, what do I do? Well, to me, the common sense thing is, let's see if we can split the difference or meet somewhere in the middle. And everybody wants to hammer the other side, whether it's the selling side saying, no way, I'm not selling. The buyer's saying, well, you did a deal with me. You have to figure a way to come to some conclusion. Everybody said, you know, here's the favorite line. Well, you got to make them sell. Rob, can I make you sell your house? If I put a gun to my, you know, Rob's head, he might, you know, sell, but hopefully he's smart enough to sell at that point. But I hate it when people say, I'm going to make them sell. Well, I'm not sure how you make somebody sell their home. You can try taking them to court. However, I'm not even sure what year that would get, you know, seen. Because it ain't gonna be 2021. So on the listing side, I'm telling you right now, if you're not putting a floor on your, when you get multiple offers or someone's guaranteeing something and you're not putting a floor in there, you're asking for trouble. I personally would probably be doing it on the buy side too. So there's just no miscommunication. That's probably last week, like I said, I had probably 4 or 5 of those that just were blowing up left and right on people. I keep talking to a lot of different agents. Charles, huh?
Oh, I know.
You know, coming up with creative ways to put deals together. I mean, you know, a month ago, the market's changed in a month, what we're trying to get, you know, through and how we're trying to handle the, you know, make the deal the best. And I know Sharon had talked about paying for sellers' closing costs in lieu of appraisal guarantees.
Or on top.
Yeah, on top of giving them X amount of money to work through the transaction. And that's one way to do it. I talked to both Charles and Daniel Gomrich yesterday. They both put offers in over the weekend. Kind of weird. They both got the offer and they didn't even have the best deal, if you really look at it. I don't think, you know, I think agents out there right now, you know, we sit here and talk about this all the time, okay, on how to work through deals. Most agents out there are on their own and they're not sure what they're doing. I mean, Charles had one that he had a $2,000 higher than a cash offer. They took his, even though if it didn't appraise, they're going to be well under with cash offers. So why the agent just didn't go back to the cash offer and say, raise your offer by $2,000, you got the house. And to me, that's kind of a no-brainer. So agents don't, I know we talked about, well, I don't want to waste my time and write an offer. We talked, what's that we were talking about?
Last meeting.
Yeah. I don't think I'd take that attitude, you guys, because yeah, it might be a waste of time, but you never know when you're gonna get it because there's a bond. I talk about this all the time. Your reputation, especially in this market, is the single most important thing you have when you're negotiating. Austin, hold on a second. When you can negotiate and you have some type of relationship with the agent on the other side, would you agree that you have a pretty good chance of overcoming other people out there? So treat each other the right way and don't consider it, you know, Mark McDonald, I really wanted to market one of my listings this weekend and we couldn't put it together. But don't go away pissed at the other side. Figure out what you can do with the next time. So Austin, what are you gonna say?
Yeah, speaking of that relationship aspect, earlier this week, I lost an offer on one of the houses, but I was the only agent, kind of calling the agent over and over and over. It's like, man, I really like your hustle and everything. And that house ended up getting sold to cash. They beat us. But the house next door, he was also going to list. And he's like, hey, if your buyer still wants it, it's the exact same thing. I won't even take it to market. You just bring me another strong offer. We'll get it done.
So you guys just treat each other with respect. I mean, I truly can't emphasize that enough. That's all I got.
And the other thing is, don't be afraid to write the offer like you said, but if you don't get it, ask for to be a backup.
Right.
Because there's a lot of backup offers being accepted and a lot of backup offers are going up because the market's crazy.
There's a lot of deals right now, you guys, that are imploding. I mean, there's the saying, you negotiate 3 times on a deal. When you write it, the appraisal, the inspection. And there's a lot of agents out there that'll write the offer up here and thinking, okay, I'll nickel and dime them on the inspection. You don't want to tell someone to waive their inspection, but you also have to warn them that don't go nickel and diming them because you're going to lose that deal.
Can I ask a question on the floor?
Yep.
How do you feel you best determine what that should be?
Great question. I mean, I think from a listing point of view, well, from the listing point of view, if Rob's my seller and we list his house for 400, and I say, Rob, what's the absolute lowest you take on that house? And if he tells me 390, and Rob's you're writing an offer with a $15,000 guarantee, I'd probably say 375. Okay, because at that point, Rob's getting his 390. I've also seen people literally put the floor so high that it might as well be the ceiling at the same time. Okay, and that doesn't really do anything.
Right.
I mean, to me, I think it's the conversation. Every person, every seller wants as much as they can get right now. However, I think if you explain what's really going on and talk to them and come to, a reasonable expectation, not when you're in the part of negotiating, but when you're sitting there listening. What is it that's the least you'd take? And I'd probably work from there.
From the buy side, I started doing it to where it would at least get us to their list price, but I think a lot of sellers now they're expecting, to get
They
more
put
than
list
that.
as the floor.
Right.
Like,
And I guess it'd be the same conversation.
Right.
What's the most you'd pay where you're coming out of pocket with a substantial amount? Because, some people will say, well, I got 20 grand to come out of pocket. Well, 20 grand is what they got out of pocket. And you say, okay, if it comes in this, we can go up to this number. That's probably where I'd write it. And you hope that it comes together. Ryan, have you seen any appraisal issues with you guys?
We just did a whole class on it Friday. Whole class, yeah. The percentage of appraisals that are coming low, as said, statistically, it's about 1 out of 20 deals, and right now it's about 1 out of 10.
So it's double.
Yep. And we talked through strategies to keep the deal together. It's one of the benefits of working with a broker versus a bank, because a broker can always order a second opinion by moving the loan application to a different lender. And that makes renegotiating a lot easier when you now have, even if the appraisal comes in low the second time around. Now, I mean, it's what are you gonna roll the dice, put it back on the market?
Right.
No, that's
You've got two, it's a lot easier from a buyer point of view, go back to the seller and say, listen, All right, we've not one, we've got two different appraisals that have come in this point. So your house isn't really what you thought it was.
Listing agents, if you're not going to meet your appraisers, you're really,
Yeah. this is- you're
you
not-
have to meet your appraisers at the house, the listing agent does. That way, that's your only time you're gonna see that appraiser. You can talk with them, talk with her, get a relationship going. A lot of times they know you from previous, and you give them your comps.
Yep.
And you try to get every comp in the world for them.
That's all you have to do. If you want to have at least 3 comps in your pocket,
Yeah.
like, ready to supply, because that's the one legal thing you can
Yep.
do with the conversations with an appraisal.
Hey, the problem is, Brent, I think, when some agents go out and say they take comps, or when it doesn't appraise, they go to show them comps. And the comps the agents are pulling aren't the comps that the appraisers are. What would be great, I mean, do you have a relationship with an appraiser that we could bring in?
Well, we actually, yeah, we've got one coming to talk about some things, and
We're s-
it was originally going to be a class that Matt and Jared are putting together that was going to be FHA focused, like, because FHA deals are actually really good right now. But people have like the perception about them. So it was gonna allow us to go deep on what you look at on an FHA appraisal. But we will have somebody in here.
I think that would be huge because, you know, everyone says, well, I pulled this. Well, A, they're using dated comps. They're not in the square mile. There's just no rhyme or
For
reason.
this class, we had 2 appraisals pulled up on the screen on the same property with a $60,000 variance. We broke it down and we found, the main reasons that the comps that the appraiser pulled were from residential neighborhoods, and this was a small lakefront. And the second appraisal went farther out in distance. Similar comps from like age, they're all 3 months old, but finding comparables in a different city, even though it was 5 miles away. But these all were on a small lake, just like this one, and it made all the difference.
We're contesting an appraisal right now. Boyd and I have a deal together. It's a quad, but it's a quad that goes up. So the lowest level is still above ground. But the appraiser did not count 500 square feet that the PRV shows is there. So we're contesting it. Trying, because, 500 square feet is a lot.
Significant on an
Yeah.
appraisal, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're waiting.
A lot of times when you're doing appraisals or you're trying to contest an appraisal, in going back to Brent's point about if you can order a new appraisal with another company, you got a much better chance. Because if I tell you, Brent, your appraisal sucks, shut me down real quick.
That was exactly like, you're making a couple of points we went over, Randy, you were there. We run a 2-pronged strategy at the same time, because we don't want to sit there spinning our thumbs. We will order, if you want, I'll call the listing agent. If they want to appeal it, give me 3 comps and all the reasons why you feel your comps are better. I'll submit an appeal on your behalf. In the meantime, we're not going to sit here. We're going to move the loan and we're going to order a second appraisal so that we've got 2 solutions going at the same time and we don't lose the time. We put a lot of deals back together and still hit the original closing date by having like the wheels in motion already.
So you have to move the loan to another
Yeah,
vendor.
you can't just say, I don't like this appraisal. We're going to order a second. You have, because a bank or a lender, they can't unsee the appraisal once they've seen it. And the percentage of appraisals that actually get a granted appeal, very, very low.
It's just, you're telling somebody they did their job wrong, what it amounts to. And, none of us like that. So another reason you guys said using Brent obviously is going to help you out dramatically. When it comes to loans right now, I would try really, really, really hard to control the loan process with your clients.
Other comments, concerns, questions on that? These are also great talking points with your clients, right? So we heard from 3 top agents last month and 3 top agents this year so far too, and what they're doing to get their business, keeping in touch with their clients, reaching out to them with value. These are great talking points to have. You can easily put this in a quick email, send it out as a newsletter. here's what's happening, right? The other side of this is I've been talking to a lot of you about your buyers. And there was some talk in the Facebook group where you've got buyers who are just getting beat every single time. There are groups in your buyer pipeline that should likely not be buying a house right now because they can't compete or they don't want to compete. Have that conversation with them. Sit them down and have a very open and honest conversation of now is not the time. They will appreciate that. Doesn't necessarily mean that to stop searching altogether, but put them on that back burner and then spend your time finding the people who are motivated, who need to move and who can compete in this crazy market, right? And then get your lender partners, your insurance partners, all of the people involved to make sure that those buyers are in the best position and ready to go. Dump those people off of your plate right now because you guys are frustrated. And what's happening is they are frustrated. And I've seen this a lot happening over the last few months. What they will do is they're not blaming the market. They're blaming the agent, right? Brent?
I'm just gonna second your point, like specifically, I get asked about the MISHDA down payment assistance program, like weekly. Like, this is not a MISHDA market. You're not gonna get your MISHDA deal accepted. Your MISHDA clients are gonna send you more MISHDA referrals, like, like the MISHDA client needs to save some money right now, while they, instead of going through all the frustrations that you're seeing with people who actually might have 3%.
Yeah, and I get it, right? They want to take advantage of this market with these low interest rates. I'm one of those people that would love to take advantage of these interest rates. I also have no interest in competing with what's happening out there. So we've just put it on the back burner. I am the buyer that had that conversation with myself of do not compete here. You don't want to, right? So have that conversation. They will appreciate it. They will feel some relief. They can get a different plan B together. And then they can come back in the market when things shift a little bit.
I think the key is really how you have that conversation to make sure that they don't feel like you're frustrated with them and that you don't want to spend the time driving around. It has to come from a place that you care about them because this is what's best for them. Or else they'll just go to somebody else and they'll think.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I have a
Tanya,
question.
yeah, go ahead.
I do, in regards to the appraisal, what is you guys take on waiving the appraisal? Because I just had an offer, I got beat out for an appraisal waiver and an inspection waiver, but I never recommend that. So we're on the same page with that. But the appraisal waiver is for Canton, and we have been getting beat every time, as most of us have, and we are writing really, really good offers. I mean, really good appraisal guarantees, free occupancy, and informational inspections only.
But you can't, when you say waive the appraisal,
Yes.
that has different meanings for different people.
Okay.
Right? You can't waive an appraisal.
It's a lender granted appraisal
Correct.
waiver, and that is
But
as
it's
good as gold.
it's
That's what you
property
want.
specific,
You want
right,
your
Brent?
buyer to have that.
It's property specific though.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's based on the address, and that's because there's enough data in the system of Fannie or Freddie Mac.
But
Yes.
I can't waive an offer, Brent. I can't come to you and say, okay, my client Rob, we're gonna waive the appraisal. And you're gonna say, no, that's not gonna happen because we need to have an appraisal on there to verify it is what, the
Tanya, are you saying you're losing the feedback you're getting from the listing agent is that there was an appraisal guarantee or appraisal waiver?
No, an appraisal waiver. This last
that-
one was an appraisal waiver. No, we're writing appraisal guarantees and we're writing good ones. We're doing escalation clauses when the agent says, yeah, okay. I am asking that. Mhm.
I wrote this weekend on one. Somebody might call this an appraisal waiver. I'd call this an appraisal guarantee. Rob wrote an offer for 600, or it was listed 550, and we went in at 6. And literally, we're guaranteeing up to $600,000. There's not a gap. There's $600,000. To me,
Really,
if
it should
someone's
be a
telling you
sale
that-
price guarantee is
Yeah.
what we should be calling this. not
Yeah,
appraisal.
that to me is what some people are calling an appraisal waiver. There's still an appraisal being done. I'm just making up the total difference between what it appraised at and what it's gonna close out at.
Yeah, but if you have a certain percentage down, there's no appraisal a lot of times. So
Right, that's what I thought.
That goes
Like
back
my-
to,
No.
my lender does that. They'll say
Yeah.
there's gonna be no appraisal because
But it's
they're
about
putting
20.
30% down or whatever,
Yeah.
so.
what did you call it? What
It's called a PIW, it's on there, it's called a property inspection waiver, but it's really, it's not waiving the inspection of the property. It's waiving the appraisal.
Right.
If it's a clean file, lots of data, lots of sales in the area, at least a minimum of 10% down.
But again,
But that doesn't-
that's the bank saying that. That's not the home, that's not.
But you do want to write it in your offer because it's the differentiator.
If they qualify. Now, if you're dealing with somebody who's putting 5 or 10% down,
Right, no.
it's not gonna
No.
happen.
They're putting 20% down.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, they're putting 20% down.
What's the minimum rent? 20,
10, you won't get one without 10.
and what is it based on?
Credit, down payment, and more than anything, just statistical data and the zip code in that address. It's based on the property address.
Okay,
It's a lot of data for the area. It's Canton, it is the Glengarry subdivisions, Sunflower
again-
subdivisions. So it's a lot of data.
and again, they're comparing it to with the sales, the historical sales.
Yeah.
Right, so if you're at $60,000 over, you're not getting, are you getting that?
Nope.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Well, but I think there's two things here too. If you're getting the feedback that there was an appraisal waiver, we'll just call it a waiver.
That's what he
At the
said. I
time-
can show you the email. That's
Right,
exactly.
No, I believe you. If you're getting feedback that there was an appraisal waiver at time the offer was accepted, that is most likely the appraisal guarantee that the buyer is saying, whatever it comes in at, I'll pay the difference. What Brett is talking about with the lender happens after acceptance of the offer.
No, people call me specifically. We get it up front once we have a property address. I'll run it through.
But you need to know what I'm offering.
Yes.
That's the point. So again, if it's a $500,000 house and I'm offering 500,000, you're probably gonna do that all day long. If I'm offering $600,000, that's gonna go down. The odds are, right?
Right.
But what he's trying to say is that if you give him the address and he can run it through with how much you're going to offer, you can actually then take what he's saying and saying, well, if it's accepted at this and runs at this, I can tell you, we don't need we don't need the appraisal.
And that.
That's where I
goes
think that's
against the world.
the,
But again, in that scenario, that makes sense. If I'm
Okay.
sitting here hearing, what's the difference, Rob? You're the seller. That, or I say I'm gonna guarantee the whole sales price. There's zero difference,
It's really just on the buyer side,
right?
whether they're mortgaging
It's
it
just
or.
safer.
Right.
out of
Yeah,
pocket.
when you have no appraisal, it's probably.
It's a
it
load
edges out the guarantee because of the.
See, I'm not
It's
sure if
gonna
I'm a
come in
seller.
below the floor, it's not gonna like. they're
No,
gonna
if
find
I
something
say-
wrong with it.
If I'm going to make up the difference between the appraised value and the sales price, it's the same thing. It's all I want to see at that point is you have the proof of funds. If you've got 200 grand in the bank and you're willing to put it on the line, it's a non-issue.
I see, but the way I see that is some buyers will say they'll pay the difference, but if it comes in super low, they're like, I don't know, I don't want to overpay.
Well, that's where that
They lose
floor
their
comes in,
AMD.
right?
Well,
Yeah.
but they
But
still back
still,
out.
they
But
can still back
right,
out.
you're right. But again, if I'm going to do this, okay, there's no, you're putting down 20%, great. And that's wonderful. But the bottom line, if it's all how it's packaged, what's the difference from a buyer's point of view? He's putting 20% down. But if I've got the money and I have to put down 40 grand or 40%, it's the same thing over the long term because my mortgage payment is now based on something that's $200,000 less or whatever that number is. Okay, so you got to understand the whole thing. I think Rob's point about semantics, people, and this goes back to how I started this whole thing, agents out there don't understand what's going on. So Tanya, that guy might have come back with that comment, not knowing what he's truly saying. That's
Well, I'll
part
tell
of-
you who it is. I'll tell you who it is.
No,
'Cause
we
he
don't need to
knows.
go there.
Tell me
Oh.
later.
Okay.
Tell me later, you know?
Okay,
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Rob.
I don't want to call anybody, but I'm telling you right now, you guys, there's agents out there that have been around for a long time that
Yeah.
do not understand this. And you probably have a better chance with the agents that are new,
Mhm.
that get it, as opposed to the old timers
100%.
that
Wow.
just clueless. I mean,
Heidi, did you want to add something in?
I did, just like two important things, especially on the listing side with these, which it surprises me that people are not asking this, but I am on mine. One is to ask for the proof of funds if they do an appraisal guarantee, because people are writing these, but then is anybody checking to make sure they actually have the funds? And also, when you're talking to the lender, ask them if that would change the financing situation, because sometimes it might be like they're putting 20% down, but if they need to do the appraisal guarantee, part of it's coming out of that, they're going to do less. Well, now they're only putting 5% down. Do they like qualify still with 5% down? Because it's a higher payment, lower down payment, all that kind of stuff. And just making sure, like having them kind of asking them to pre-approve them on that scenario as well, I think is extremely important, because that's a lot of money. People are like saying they'll do it. Maybe they have some, but they don't sometimes realize all the qualifications for the financing either. So anyways.
One of the things that, one of the agents that I worked with on a deal, they required the EMD to be the amount of the guarantee, the appraisal guarantee, which I think is smart. If they're guaranteeing 30,000, then the EMD is 30,000, then you know that they have the funds.
That's an interesting strategy.
Going back to one of the problems, I do nothing but lists, but
Right.
I work with buyers agents, and they're saying the same thing on the Delia team. I'm writing 20 offers. I've gotten 4 deals through this year for different buyers agents in our group. Going back on withdrawals and expireds, going back and calling or knocking on the door. We have a buyer that will want to buy, they'll pay this much money. And we do it for 4%, 2% list side. It's not really a listing.
That's
but
right. It's kind of like a
4%,
physical,
it's
but-
done.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've been saying it for the last few months. If you're writing an offer on a property and you go up against 5, 10, 15, 20, sometimes 30 to 40 offers, I don't know why you're not walking the neighborhood and looking at the same house and knocking on the door and saying, here's what happened. Are you interested? Because I mean, we can, if you go back and agents who are big with farming, there's a strategy behind this. And if I know if this house lists here, I can draw a circle about a mile radius around that, not even a mile. And there's going to be other homes that'll pop up within the next 90 days. So if you are the agent that writes the offer and then just go knocks on those doors and say, hey, here's what's going on. Are you interested? Someone's going to say, yeah, I am interested, actually. We're working on it. Or as soon as the kids are out of school, or I've been trying to figure this out, I don't know what to do, whatever the story is. Right. So to Mike's point, like, yeah, like check those old expires, check those old withdrawals, door knock the neighbors. Like there's a lot of business, but you've got to hunt it down right now. You have to hunt it down. Don't tell your buyer, we'll wait for it to pop up. You're waiting for someone else to do your job. You'll be way farther ahead when the market shifts. Any other questions, comments on this topic?
So Rob, I have a question and / comment. So basically, are you saying when we have buyers who are really frustrated with the market, if we farm that particular area where they want to be and just simply ask, hey, are you willing to sell right now? We've had multiple offers on your neighbor's house, then we could possibly salvage the relationship with the buyer by just finding them a similar house in the same area. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
And I want to be clear about that too, is your buyer's still likely to be paying the premium, right? It's not like they're going to get a ripper deal. They're paying a premium. The advantage is they're likely not competing against 30 other offers.
Exactly.
let me,
Go ahead.
one last thing. House comes on the market today and it says all offers will be due Saturday morning, 9 o'clock. Any of you guys, speaking from experience here, if you can be the first one in and your person loves it, don't sit there and say, okay, I'm going to wait till Saturday. when all offers need to be in. Pick up the phone, call the agent up and say, hey, Rob, is there a number right now that your client will take the house off the market for?
Yeah.
Hello. That works.
Right.
I mean,
Hell yes,
it works a lot.
Okay, okay.
Especially if there's multiple, if there's tons of showings. What happened this weekend? Picked it up, called him, and, I knew this was gonna go. And he goes, what are you talking about? I go, it's gonna be north, it was 550. It's gonna be north of 600. He goes, I'm pretty confident if you write that offer, I can get it through. We had the offer signed by noon on Saturday. Okay, and it came on the market Friday.
I was witness to it.
Yeah, he was here watching me write the offer.
Okay.
Now, I will say, literally, I'm writing the offer on Saturday morning and he's texting me, got another offer. But we were able to do it. Now, if this had gone to a highest and best, doubtful that number would have worked. So just don't assume that all offers are going to be in. Now, some people will say, I told you it's not going to be, till Saturday. Be nice about it and find out if they're willing to take a deal.
But pick the phone up and call.
Yeah.
It's gotta be voice to voice, not
Yes,
text message.
talks. You're right.
I had one like that and I called the agent. They didn't have any offers yet. And I asked her, what would they be willing to take? We offered 25 over. We were first ones in. She took it. Then she still waited on the other offers to come in. And I even asked her about them.
Did she sign yours?
No. Oh, no. I even asked her about the letter. She said, yes, have them write a letter. I think that's the perfect thing. They wrote a beautiful letter. She had my clients all excited, and then she waited on other offers.
Oh, I'd be pissed. Then ask Jeff wrote something, probably a month.
That's what happened to me over the weekend, basically.
Oh, it's accepted.
Yeah,
Verbal.
right. Jeff wrote a deal a couple weeks ago, and he put in a price, let's say it was $650. And he said, okay, if you accept it by Wednesday, it's $650. If you wait till Friday, it's X. And it was going down.
Yeah.
And if you wait till Monday, it's going down even more.
Yeah.
Like in an addendum, that's like how he wrote it.
Yeah.
It was like a,
Yeah.
like a
And the guy-
de-escalation clause.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yeah, it worked.
Yeah, it worked.
Yes, it worked. And he got it on the first one.
Nice, I like it. 'Cause it's
So-
on paper.
Yeah.
But you got to have the cojones
To do it.
to do that. And your clients need to know that.
Mhm. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so getting creative out there. All right, so market moment turned into market half hour, but I think it's important that we keep talking about this. Because it'll help you guys out there in the field. So we'll continue these types of conversations. A few more things to get through. Forbes ranked Keller Williams as one of America's best employers for diversity. So that's awesome to see of all the different diversity of stuff. And our office has been amazing at those events. LinkedIn ranked Keller Williams as one of the top companies for 2021 in the United States. And I believe we were the only real estate company. Has anybody checked out this branded magazine? Okay, so in designs, I actually created this. I did one for myself, and then I created one for a recruit that I'm talking to, and she was blown away by it. But it's a magazine. You can add pages to it, and you can customize it. That you can print it, or you can send it out digitally to your database. It took me about 7 minutes to customize it to how I wanted, but it's pre-written articles, really well done, great content. So the recruit that I sent it to said that they have something at their company similar, but the articles are garbage, is her words. So she was really impressed with this. So it's in designs, and you can check that out. And I'll post this into the Facebook group as well. Keller Mortgage has a refinancing special going on through the end of June. Interest rates 0.25% below average, lower monthly payments, no lender fees, fast processing, limited to KW customers only. So if you have any customers for that, check that out. Client communication kits. You guys aren't checking these out within, it's on KW Connect and KW Command. This is a really cool thing. Every month they put out different communication kits for your clients. It comes with a text message, pre-written text message, social media graphics, and an email that you can send out to your database. It's copy and paste, super easy to use. great content. So check those out. Again, I'll post this in the Facebook group, so you can just click and go to it, but it's in KW Command. Really easy to do and quick content. I know we're always looking for something. You heard the top agents. Keep in touch with your database. This is the way to do it. This is with that. Smart plans, the library of smart plans within Command has been updated. Next meeting, Trevor's going to give you guys a Command update. But if you're not using the smart plans to nurture the leads that you're generating, hop in there. You can download it. It customizes to you, hit send. It's super easy to do. You can bulk add people to that as well. So if you've been generating leads, this is where you want to go for that. And Barb, anything from you to add on to? I know you talked earlier, but did you want to add anything in?
Yeah, I guess I want to just throw real quickly out there. I know, we're busy, but we're not, we're busy. Let's put it that way, like Perna's killing it, Demora's killing it, Doug's killing it. We're busy, but what I would suggest to some agents that aren't using us, it's always great to have plan B, right? If your title company can't for some reason get it done, we'd love to be your plan B. So what I would suggest is throw us the deal, see how we do, and then you have us on that back burner. If you have a relationship with a title company, that's great. Like I said, there's business for all of us out there. But I'm gonna throw out there, like, we'd love to be your plan B. So if you're not, throw us one, then you have to steer back on in case you run against a wall. If your title company, hey, we're busy, can't run the quickly so fast, whatever, we'll do that for you. So give us a try.
Which, by the way, the processor that is dedicated to the Novi office, Kathy, is freaking amazing.
I meant to say, yeah.
Yeah.
I think right now we have the best processor we've ever had here in Novi.
Yeah.
The best processor Legacy has here.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
a good time to give us a try.
Yeah, really, really great. Michelle, any last minute words? Okay. Come to Friday class. Brent, anything you want to add in? I know we.
Yeah, I appreciate being able to participate in the dialogue, and that was some of the stuff I was going to talk about.
Perfect. Okay. Two more quick announcements. One is next meeting, May 25th. I will actually not be here. I've got a regional thing in Ohio, so Pete will be serving up pancakes.
Make it worth your time coming in. Can't do that virtual though.
Right, you got to come in for the pancakes. Pete will cook them up. Pancakes start at 9. There will still be a meeting. We've got a couple special things planned for that meeting, one including Trevor, and then another role play thing happening. So definitely come for that. Andrea, did you want to mention something real quick?
Yeah, I wanted to let everybody know that on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, there's going to be a Zoom space for role play. So any agents that are interested in doing role play with me, I would love for some veteran agents to come online too, to help kind of facilitate the space. Because for those of us that don't know what we're doing, the vets can, straighten us out. That's Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays from 9:30 to 10, except when we have the shareholders meetings.
Okay, so can you post that into the Facebook group as well?
Yep, I posted it already, but I'll post it again.
Thank you. And then last, that's on Facebook. That's
Yeah.
public.
I think so. Yeah. Is that
Yeah.
possible?
Yeah.
No, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. So Daniel Lorado, his wife's pregnant. They just had their baby yesterday. She was pregnant. Yes, right. His wife was pregnant. So they just had their baby.
Congratulations.
They had a baby girl.
First or
His first one, yeah.
Precious.
So
Precious.
congratulate him. I think they just made a Facebook post. Hopefully they just did. Everyone's telling me they did. So I was sworn to secrecy until Kylie was able to make her announcement. So congratulations, Daniel. Everyone, thanks for joining us and have a great week.